I'm Coyote Peterson, and that is the North American porcupine. As you can see, he's covered in quills. Get ready, we're about to enter the spike zone. This morning, the crew and I fueled up and set off down rugged mountain roads into the high country of Montana, where we would get the chance to work with one of the most common, and proudly, the second largest rodent in North America, the porcupine. Now this is true porcupine territory right here. All these tall pines, hillsides, perfect place for them to be rummaging around in all this loose soil for roots and berries and all sorts of delicious porcupine treats. These black and white forest dwellers may look adorable and cuddly, but as we all know, and I was about to experience, they are equipped with nature's reactive armor. Just beneath a layer of sensitive guard hairs, you will find thousands of barbed quills that will make any would-be predator think twice about considering the porcupine for an entree. Now, I've never seen a porcupine before in the wild. I've never worked with a porcupine, so for me, this is going to be a really unique experience. Now, the reason I'm able to get so close to this porcupine is because it was actually raised in captivity. So this little guy's used to being around humans and sometimes cameras. Now, this is the second largest rodent that lives in North America, trumped only by its aquatic cousin, the beaver. Now, porcupines have incredible claws. They got 4 claws on the front and actually a vestigial thumb, which allows them to quickly climb up trees to evade predators. If you can't get to a tree in time, what they do is exactly this. Show the rump side and all those quills, you get your nose close to that, and it's gonna be a face full of spikes. Today my goal is to intentionally get quilled by a porcupine. Yes, you heard me right, I'm going to get quilled by a porcupine. I'm going to show you the right way to remove these painful, barbed quills from either yourself or in most cases, from the snout of your curious pet. Now I'm being told that when I perform this example, I'm going to get close to 40 or 50 quills in the back of my hand. I hope you guys enjoy this at home. This will in no way cause any harm to the porcupine. Their quills are nothing more than modified hairs, and they continually grow over the life of the animal. The only one who is going to experience any discomfort is me. Tell you where you don't want to get quilled in the face. That would be pretty bad. Alright, what I want to do is agitate those guard hairs, and then he should thrust his tail up into my hand. Alright, you ready? I love how I get myself into these things. 1, 2, ooh! Yep, there we go. That's a handful of quills. Now the ones on the top of my hand really aren't that bad. It's those ones right there. Can you see how deep those are into my finger? It hurts to move my finger right now. I mean, I think they touch bone. It hurts a lot. I think most of them are going to be pretty easy to get out. Those two are going to be extremely painful. Well, I got a handful of quills here for my little friend the porcupine right there. I'm going to show you guys how to get these out of either your hand or your dog. I have a feeling this is going to be pretty painful. All right, come on, let's go. The one in my finger hurts so bad right now. Now, it's most likely that your dog is going to get quilled by a porcupine. And you know, you might think, oh, I'm just going to pull that quill straight out. It's not going to work. These have microscopic barbs on the end. And one of the cool techniques of the porcupine quill is that once it's in there, it works deeper and deeper and deeper. So you want to get these out as quick as you possibly can. And I never recommend that you go out and get yourself quilled by a porcupine. And the reason that I did this today was to show you how to remove quills from your hand. And the reason that I snipped off the tops of all the quills is that it actually releases pressure inside of the quill, relaxes the barbs, and now they should release out of my hand a bit easier. And what I want to do is gently grab the quills, twist them, and pull straight up. I'm going to remove the ones that aren't as deep first. I want to get all those barbs and those little points out of there because they can cause an infection, and that's the last thing that I want to happen. If you were a mountain lion, a bear, or a coyote, and you got a face full of these quills, I mean, it's debilitating. I can barely move my hand. These animals wouldn't be able to then go out and continue hunting. And I can see why eventually this could cause a large predator like that to die. Woo, my hand hurts. Okay, these are the last 3. It's not like a Band-Aid. And you don't just pull it off. You just pull these out, it's gonna rip all the skin out with it because of those tiny little microscopic barbs. Whew, okay, I'm gonna twist and pull straight up. That's the goal. Oh, jeez. Ah, that hurt. Oh, you can see the blood pouring out now. You get that shot with the blood? Oh my gosh. Yeah, that really hurt. Okay. You good? Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh, that was like I could feel it pulling all the way out through the skin. Ow! Oh my goodness. Wow, I mean that was buried into my hand up to the white. That is a serious quill in my coyote paw. Moral of this story, do not get quilled by a porcupine. I hope you guys learned something here today. If you are ever quilled, snip off the top, it will release the pressure, grab, twist, and pull it out. The Pacific Coast is an incredible environment to explore, and on this adventure, the crew and I were in the Santa Cruz Mountains hoping to experience some of its biological diversity. From towering redwood forests to vast chaparral shrublands, the range of landscapes presented countless opportunities for encountering the local wildlife. Some of which is beautiful, yet equally as creepy looking. That is the Jerusalem cricket. Non-venomous, but they can give you a pretty good bite. So I want to be extra careful handling this guy. And then there are the encounters that happen so quickly, you aren't even prepared for them. I flipped over this board over here, and before the cameras could even get turned on, found two little coast garter snakes. And I'm guessing these two snakes are probably from the same clutch, so it could be brothers, could be brother and sister. And they're actually pretty calm at this point. By the time, Mark, you got the camera turned on, I was able to handle them a little bit. But right when I first caught them, key defense tactic of this snake is to poop on you. So I got musked. Yeah, it stinks pretty bad. Say I'm a predator coming into this environment. I see these snakes on the ground, try to grab it. I'm gonna get a mouthful of you-know-what. Not gonna taste very good, and then hopefully they can make their escape. Very cool. Two little baby coast garter snakes. Gonna put them right back under the board where they came from, and hopefully we're gonna find something a little bit bigger. Traversing through the shrublands, there is one common lizard species you can stumble upon, and we happen to find ourselves in just the right place to experience the Pacific Coast's tiny resident dragon. He's just hunkered down. Do you see his tongue sticking out? Yeah. That is a southern alligator lizard. Come up right there. Right there. Now, they're not real quick. Look at him. Just look. He looks like a snake. His legs are tucked right in close to him. Right there. Look how well he camouflages right into that dirt. Now, these guys can be pretty aggressive. Wow, look at him, the southern alligator lizard. All right, let's take him up here and into some better light and get some good shots with him. What's really interesting about this lizard is look at the size of that tail. Now, this is a prehensile tail, and it actually looks like at some point in time, oh, he's pooping on me. Great, that's another defense mechanism to poop if you're handled. It's one reason you probably don't want to pick these lizards up if you see them out there in the wild. But the real reason that you don't want to try to come out and pick up this lizard is that they will oftentimes pop their tail off. And this is called caudal autonomy, which means that if a predator comes in, like let's say a raccoon or a coyote, and tries to grab this lizard and bites the tail, this lizard can pop its tail off and the tail will keep flicking and moving around, but the lizard can then escape and find itself some safety. Now this tail will grow back, but it will never grow back as long as it originally was, and usually grows back as like a little nub. And we want to be as gentle as we possibly can with this guy. Yeah, we don't want that tail popping off, do we? These guys can give you a pretty nasty little bite. Of course, they're non-venomous. Oh, look, there you go. See that? Look at that tongue. Looks like a Komodo dragon with that tongue sticking out. He's sniffing me right now. He's got, oh, yeah, you can bite, you can bite. Oh, yeah, that's a pretty good little bite there. Wow, look at that mark that he put in my finger. Did you have to do that? He's like, yeah, you put your finger in my mouth. What'd you think was gonna happen? This lizard is very, very interesting feeling. He's very smooth. The scales are a little rough, but just the slender nature of his body allows him to easily skirt through all of this rough terrain. What I'm picking here, this stuff is all covered in little prickers and spikes, and I'm kneeling in it. It doesn't feel good, but his body is like armored plating. So he's just kind of weaving in and out of all these twigs, and those short little legs allow him to quickly move through his environment. Look at that eye. I mean, this little guy, he looks like a dragon. It's got that dark black pupil, orange around the outside, and that bright yellow. But it's really the scales on the head that are the most impressive. Go ahead and zoom in on that. Look at the top of his head. And he looks like an alligator. Just the general shape of his snout and those rugged, tough, iron-looking scales on top of his skull. This creature is built like a tank.
Does he smell or?
He does. He stinks. He pooped on me, this little bugger. And that's what happens if you come out and you try to catch one of these lizards. If you don't get bit, you're gonna get pooped on. And he dropped bombs all over me. And it's bad. It smells like a dead fish that's been sitting in the sun for a few days. What have you been eating? Probably bird eggs. It's probably bird eggs that he pooped all over my hand. You see, look, it's all drying up on there. My hand's gonna stink for days now. What a cool experience getting up close with the southern alligator lizard. I got bitten, I got pooped on, and I found one of the coolest creatures out here on the California coast. For me, this was right place, right time. If you guys ever just stumbled upon an awesome creature in the wild, tell me about it in the comments section below. Alright, so what I'm looking for today is one of the rarest snakes on the face of the planet, the Lake Erie water snake. This species is only native to the Erie Islands, and right now, we're on North Bass, where these snakes completely roam free. I want to catch one of these so that you guys can see just how cool this snake really is. We're going to comb the shoreline, you're going to follow me, and hopefully we're going to catch one. All these large rocks like this, the snakes will sit up in sun, dive off the edge into the water to go hunt. I'm hoping to scare them out so that then I can jump after the snakes. The water's crystal clear, and that means I'll be able to see the snakes once they dive in.
Oh, it's behind you.
Jeez, that is a baby Lake Erie water snake. I saw it dart off the edge, and then I lost it as I kind of disturbed the bottom. What's really cool about the babies is they have these very distinctive bands that kind of disappear as they get older. When they get older and big, they kind of just turn this dark gray color. Now this snake is probably a newborn, and the mother Lake Erie water snake is going to have anywhere between 25 and 40 babies, and they give birth to live young. And this snake will grow to be about 3.5 to 4 feet long, and that's what we're really looking for today, is a big Lake Erie water snake. There's one. There we go, that's a pretty good sized one right there. That is the Lake Erie water snake. And the typical signs of aggression, he's trying to bite me right from the start. And these guys are non-venomous, but you get bit, you're definitely gonna bleed. Wow, that is a good, ow, jeez. Yeah, he just took the tip of my finger and sliced it open. Okay, hold on, let me try to get him under control a little bit better. All right, hold on, calm down, buddy. Wow, that is a good sized snake. Let me get him up onto the edge here. Jeez, look at that. He just sliced the top of my finger open. Wow, that's probably, what, good 3.5 foot long snake. All right, let me get him up here and try not to get bit a second time. My finger is bleeding so much because there's actually an anticoagulant in the saliva of all water snakes. The anticoagulant prevents the blood from clotting, and that's just going to keep bleeding and bleeding. Now, one of the reasons that people were so afraid of these snakes, let me see if I can get him to kind of puff his head up. They'll actually form their head into a V shape, which makes them look like water moccasins. Now, water moccasins are very dark in coloration, almost resemble these snakes identically. And that's why people thought, this is a venomous snake, I need to kill him off of the island. Not the case though. The only reason you get bit, like I just did, is I ran and jumped in and grabbed a hold of him. And these snakes really just want to be left alone. And the reason that I wanted to catch him is so you could get the chance to see a species that was almost wiped off the face of the planet. And these guys just camouflage so incredibly well. Let me see if I'm getting to go into the rocks here. You see that? He blends in almost perfectly with the colorations in these different shades of rocks. It allows these guys to stay hidden as they go out hunting along the floor of the lake looking for round gobies. Now, the reason I think this snake is so cool is because it's only native to the Erie Islands. Once an endangered species, these guys are rebounding back and actually helping the ecosystem because they're eating the invasive round gobies. So I'm gonna let this guy go so he can go out there and eat some of those nasty little buggers. Scorpions, scorpions, scorpions. The name alone causes most people, including myself, to cringe. Armed up front with lobster-looking pinchers called pedipalps, and from the back, a quick-striking tail tipped with a venom-injecting stinger. These arachnids definitely command respect. This is the part where I get stung by a scorpion. I've never been stung by a scorpion, but today I'm going to intentionally take a sting to prove that not all scorpions are capable of killing you. Hopefully by demonstrating this firsthand, you will take away a more understanding perspective of this overly vilified arachnid. Yeah, well hopefully it's the last time. I've done a pretty good job not being stung by insects and arachnids my entire life. So this is one of those forced situations, and we'll see what happens.
We like to take all measures to make sure that all safety concerns are addressed. There is a small, very small, minute chance that you could have an allergic reaction to this thing. In the event that that does occur, we have secured the EpiPen pack here.
Great.
And that's sort of like the last line of defense. If he does go into anaphylactic shock, we will squeeze the EpiPen after removing the sheath to expose the needle, very long
Let's not
needle,
talk about it.
and then boom.
Now this in no way will cause any harm to the animal. The only person who's going to pay for this little experience is me. Some of you probably think this is ridiculous. Some will think it's crazy. And those of you that know about scorpions will say, it's no big deal. It's just a giant desert hairy. It will be like a bee sting. And that's the point I'm trying to make. Not all scorpions are as dangerous as advertised. Ready?
Yep, go ahead.
I'm Coyote Peterson, and I'm entering the strike zone. 1, 2, 3. Ah! Jeez, yeah, he got me. That wasn't that bad. Well, that was it.
Huh? Close your hand. Like, tell us.
Yeah.
Okay, hold on a second. Now I'm
Ask where the scorpion went.
sweating like crazy. The scorpion's right here. I think he just wanted to get into the shade. All right, well, that was a lot of nerves, but it really didn't hurt as bad as I thought. The giant desert hairy scorpion is supposedly only like a bee sting. I don't think it even hurt as much as a bee sting. Definitely didn't hurt as much as a hornet or a wasp sting. I think he was just scared. I mean, I had my hand on him, so he wanted to get away. Just a defense tactic, and now he's down in the shade, and hopefully you guys don't have to use that EpiPen. Fortunately, I had no major adverse reaction to the venom, just a little swelling and tenderness. The giant desert hairy scorpion is not very dangerous, but there are about 25 species of scorpion in the world that do have a potentially lethal venom. So no matter what, never attempt replicating what you just witnessed me do here today. The moral of this story is, give scorpions their space and show them respect, even if they are totally creepy. Alright guys, so right now I'm sitting here, geez, calm down, with a 50-pound alligator snapping turtle. A couple months back I posted a photo on Instagram and Facebook and asked the question, should I be bitten by an alligator snapping turtle? I was expecting you guys to say, no way Coyote, don't do it. But surprisingly, more than 95% of you said yes, we want to see what it looks like if an alligator snapping turtle bites you. Now I've been stung by a scorpion, I've been quilled by a porcupine, I've been batted around by a grizzly bear, but nothing I don't think makes me more nervous than to get my arm into the jaws of this turtle. Now let's take a look at his actual bite force here. Look at that. That bite could easily lop off my fingers, so you're not going to see me doing this. But what I'm going to do is actually put my arm into the turtle's jaws. Now we're going to test this out first with a turkey leg, which is about as big around as my forearm, just to see what sort of damage this turtle's jaws are capable of doing. I know you guys are probably sitting there right now thinking, Coyote, you are absolutely crazy. My heart is speeding right now, and yeah, I think this is pretty crazy. And if you guys had all said, no, 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 definitely don't do this, I probably wouldn't have done it, but there's so many of you that want to see me chomped by an alligator snapping turtle, I think I got to go through with it. We have bought some giant turkey legs to do a test to see just how powerful this snapping turtle's bite force is. And you think this is crazy, right, Adam?
Yeah, I wouldn't do it.
And look at that. That is solid meat and bone right there. And if you look at my forearm, that's about as thick as my forearm is. That's a big turkey leg right there. And my arm feels just about the same. It's all muscle right there, muscle and bone. So what we're gonna do is attach this turkey leg to the back of a piece of bamboo. I'm gonna reach it out and I'm gonna let that turtle latch down on this, and we're gonna see just how hard and deep his jaws cut into that meat. I mean, if he cuts all the way through down to the bone, I don't know guys, I don't want to get injured so bad that I'm sent to the hospital. He gets through this turkey leg, he's getting through my arm. You ready?
Yeah.
All right, bring that dragon in here. All right, so lay him just kind of right up top here. Let's put him just slightly off the front edge. Got a good shot on that?
Yep.
All right, here we go, guys. This is an alligator snapping turtle biting down on a turkey leg. Ready? Oh my goodness. Oh my gosh. Holy cow, did you see how deep his beak just went into that meat? Dude, guys, I don't know about that.
Hold it there.
There you go.
Oh my gosh, you hear that?
That's when they bite the worst, when you start moving.
We don't have much of a turkey leg anymore at this point. Look at the meat is just falling off. That was a solid turkey leg. That is his lower beak. That's the hole that the lower beak made. I don't know, man. That is some serious damage to the meat.
Let's rethink this.
Let's rethink this. Okay, cut the camera. The alligator snapping turtle has a bite force around 1,200 pounds per square inch. After seeing what it did to the turkey leg, there was no way I was putting my arm in its mouth unprotected. Sorry, guys.
You only grow one set of fingers. Just always remember that.
However, so I could still go through with this little experimental challenge, we decided to build a brace on my arm using an ace bandage, 4 splints, and some sports wrap. Hopefully this combination will give me some protection against the bite. This is not a good idea. Kids, never, ever, ever try this at home. And the 95% of you that convinced me to do this, thanks, guys. Man, look at that bite. It sounds like a meat cleaver coming down. Whoa. Yeah, that's bad. My arm is about to go into that. All right, you guys ready? Nervous, very nervous. Okay, I'm Coyote Peterson, and I'm about to enter the strike zone with the alligator snapping turtle. Adam, you got a good hold on him? All right, Mark, you ready? GoPro, ready? Here we go. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Ooh, I could hear it cracking the bamboo. Oh, jeez! He's through into my arm. Jeez, it went right past the bamboo into my arm. Yep, he pierced skin. I can definitely feel it. I don't think I want to do that again.
You right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think his beak definitely went down through this. You can see the hole right there. He slipped in between the bamboo and went into my arm. He didn't break my arm, but the pressure was like unlike anything I've ever had on my arm before. Just the sheer weight, and I could feel it's really stressing the bamboo about to its maximum. And I think it was until he got over by the side and his beak pierced through that. Hold on a second. Like your adrenaline gets rushing like that, and I think.
Feel nauseous?
Yeah, I do. It's starting to hurt now. Like my arm is throbbing. I don't know if he might have busted blood vessels in my arm. Do not try to catch these animals. Do not antagonize them. If you are bitten, it is going to be bad. My arm is throbbing right now. Whew, that was a crazy experience. You guys asked for it, and I got chomped by a 50-pound alligator snapping turtle. This guy has been an incredible sport. I'm gonna call him Big Chomper. We're gonna get him back out into the Louisiana backwaters. All right, buddy, we'll see you later. Thanks for the bite. Wow, what an incredible first season of Dragon Tales. We caught some monster turtles, took some mega bites. Unfortunately, we didn't catch a world record. But don't worry, guys, there's always season 2. As we begin our journey into the second season of Breaking Trail, I find myself at home in the desert. The Southwest has always been one of my favorite places to explore. And if you can withstand the intense heat, it is about 108 degrees out here today. Spine-covered plant life. Oh my gosh, that thing is really wedged into my hand. I knew this was gonna happen. And the venomous creatures. You might find yourself loving it just as much as me. I find that exploring in a wash or narrow canyon near sunset almost always yields an animal encounter, some of which can really keep you on your toes. Got a snake! Got a snake! Yes! Check this out! Oh, look at that! Do you know what species that is? That is a coach whip. This is one of the fastest snakes that you're ever going to come across out here in the desert. Get this guy on the ground. You have no shot of catching him. I saw him just dart off of that tree branch. Sorry, I couldn't even give you any warning. Just had to lunge for him. Look at that. Look how long and beautiful that snake is. Now, these snakes are feeding on lizards and any other little rodents that might be running around out here in the desert. Look at how beautiful those eyes are, though. Wow, so perfectly streamlined. That obviously allows them to move incredibly quick. The reason that they're called coach whips is that you can see the snake pretty much looks like a whip. These snakes are non-venomous, certainly have no interest in going after humans. They're just out here to explore the desert and look for dinner. So cool. All right, well, let's get him back up in his tree so that he can continue hunting. Oh, that was cool to see him climbing up into the trees. All right, let's head up towards the base of this mountain, some big boulders. Let's see what we can find living up there. In my book, any snake encounter has made the day. But when I explore the desert, my mind is fixated on one thing and one thing only: lizards. And which ones will I try to catch this time? The Sonoran Desert and its expansive, beautifully rugged ecosystems provides a home to many species, some of which are safe and simple to catch, like the regal horned lizard, and some that you should never try to catch, like the venomous Gila monster. He doesn't want anything to do with us right now. He's just laying low to the sand saying, okay, don't get any closer. I love looking for and trying to catch lizards because they always pose such a challenge. The skill of actually making a capture requires stealth, precision, and a whole lot of luck. All right, look, we got it. That is a collared lizard. You see his little yellow head? Barely see him. All right, I'm gonna leave my snake stick here. Come up slow. Try not to startle him. Got him! Ow! He's biting me! Ow! He's got a hold of my finger. I got a hold of him and he's got a hold of me. Look at that. Geez. I guess that's one way to catch a collared lizard. I can't even believe you let me get that close. Holy cow. All right, whoa, those teeth are super sharp. He is locked onto my finger. Geez, didn't see that coming. And as you can see, he kind of said, you're gonna catch me? Well, guess what, Coyote? I am also going to catch you. This is just a totally uncomfortable situation, but I got him, and we're gonna get the most beautiful and the fastest lizard in the Southwest up close for you right now. All right, let me get off of this. Okay.
What does that feel like?
It feels like a bunch of little tiny needles. Yes. Thank you for letting go. Ouch. All right, now let's try to get a better look at this beautiful, beautiful lizard. Look at him. Now, this is one of the most aggressive species of lizards that we have out here, and certainly not aggressive towards humans. They're aggressive towards the other animals that call the desert home. This is kind of like a little mini T-Rex. As he's roaming the hillsides here, he is looking for anything that's unfortunate enough to get close to those jaws. And I can tell you firsthand that their bite is a serious powerhouse. This is probably the fastest lizard species that we have here in the Southwest. In fact, they are so quick that when they're running, their front half will lift off the ground, kind of like a basilisk lizard, and they'll use these back feet to project themselves up in the air, and this long, skinny tail kind of works like a rudder to help direct them through the environment. I would put him down and show you what that looks like, but he is going to take off so incredibly quick, we would not be able to catch him again. Look how beautiful the coloration is on this lizard. He's got this bright yellow head, and the reason they're called collared lizards is because you see that double black striped collar on the back of his neck there, the teal skin, the yellow and white speckling. Unbelievably beautiful. And you may be saying to yourself, gosh, this lizard looks like it would really stick out in the desert environment. It must be easy for predators to pick this guy off. Actually, because this lizard is so fast, it's almost impossible for predators to catch it. I'd say the only thing that's going to be able to get one of these lizards and turn it into dinner would be a roadrunner or maybe a coach whip. What an awesome experience. Getting close, actually catching, and then getting chomped by the eastern collared lizard. One of the most beautiful and fastest lizards that we have here in the Southwest. All right, you ready to get back up on your rock and not bite any more coyotes? I hope so. This was only the second time in my life that I was able to capture a collared lizard. And despite getting bitten, I'd consider this a lucky day. By the light of day, the desert appears to be void of any living creatures. And if you find yourself in the heart of the Sonoran Desert, the intense sun and scorching heat can reach temperatures close to 110 degrees Fahrenheit. Survival in those conditions without water and shade is almost impossible. However, as the sun disappears beyond the horizon and the cool darkness of night sets in, the seemingly uninhabitable desert awakens with creatures. Exploring the desert at night is a true adventure. Right now I'm sitting in the middle of a wash, which is pretty much the equivalent of an animal superhighway. I say we head that direction and see what we can find. Power up your flashlight to brave the night, and you're almost certain to have some animal encounters that you are not likely to forget. Oh, jeez. Come here. Check this out.
You got some?
Yep. Whoa! It's neither a scorpion or a spider. It's a soul pugid, also known as a wind scorpion or a sun spider. They're actually really fast, so I'm hoping he's just going to stay on that rock. Well, they're non-venomous, so it's not that dangerous, but if you look at that front set of mandibles right there, get your finger close to that, and you're going to get quite the pinch. And these guys have an incredible defensive posture. Look at that. They will not back down. That is for sure. Okay, stay right there on that rock.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, I'm gonna... All right, he's like, okay, I've been spotted. You can go on my hand. There we go. Look at that. Oh boy, stay there, stay there, stay there.
Oh.
Okay, don't want it on my back. Don't want it on my back. Get on my hand. Oh my gosh, it feels so creepy. Like a tarantula, only faster. Thankfully, it doesn't have a stinger like a scorpion. Look at that. Okay, stay. Now, these arachnids have become incredibly famous on the internet. We actually have them all over the world, and there's some famous pictures out there floating around where people will actually hold them up in front of a camera with a forced perspective to make them look so much bigger than they really are. This is honestly the biggest one that I've ever seen. And just like any arachnid, they do have 8 legs, but this front setup here, which is actually 9 and 10, are the pedipalps. And unlike a scorpion, they don't have pinchers, but they have all these sticky little hairs. So let's say, hope he doesn't lunge out and bite me. If a moth flies towards him, like that, you see that? Watch. Like that, he can grab with those pedipalps, and those little hairs are sticky, and then he shoves his prey right into those front mandibles, and, oh, come here, come here. And then he's got dinner. And that's basically like being thrown into a set of giant razor sharp shears. Look out, he's coming towards your leg. Okay, I got him. Okay, that gets your heart racing. Okay.
Have you ever been bit by one of these?
No. Worst case scenario, if I am bitten by this creature, it is non-venomous. Most people think that this is a venomous animal like a scorpion or a spider, but a bite from this is going to cause a little bit of irritation. But if I take a bite, I'm going to be just fine.
Would you be willing to take a bite?
Really, you had to ask that.
I dare you.
I mean, this is the biggest one that I've ever seen. It actually could kind of prove a cool point that they are not venomous, despite the fact that they look like they're the predator from Arnold Schwarzenegger's famous movie. Getting the speedy arachnid under control was rather difficult, but once I had it gently placed in my fingers, it was time to test out those vicious-looking chompers. I'm Coyote Peterson, and I'm about to enter the strike zone with the soul pugid. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Ow! Ow! Ah! Oh, yeah, can you see that? Holy cow, that hurts. Wow, that pressure is unbelievable. Oh my gosh, his little mandibles are razor sharp. Oh! Ew. Ow! Jeez, that hurts, like little tiny needles going into my finger.
So how was that?
That was not fun. He didn't actually break skin, although it felt like he was cutting through, using his mandibles like scissors. As you can see, Mr. Soul Pugid is just fine. I think I'm a little worse for the wear, but the point is, I'm actually not bleeding, and he certainly is not venomous. Not a creature that you need to be afraid of. Just when I thought the creatures of the desert couldn't get any more bizarre, we bump into the Soul Pugid. And getting bitten by one, guys, that's an experience that I'm certainly never going to forget. But hopefully we've proven that these little arachnids are not venomous, and their bark, sorry buddy, is far worse than their bite. All right, little predator, back off into the desert with you. The Pacific coast is an expansive beauty, and if you head down to the shores of Half Moon Bay at low tide, there's a world of biodiversity that you may encounter. Alright, so here's something pretty interesting. As we're waiting for the water to recede back and the tide pools to become exposed, this is what's left behind. This giant mass of nastiness, this is kelp. And you aren't here with me right now, but I promise you, this stuff absolutely stinks.
The tide's going out.
Looks like the tide's coming back in. So, now you can eat kelp, some people do, but if you were here and you stuck your face in this and you could smell it, it's like a rotten fish market. Certainly not something that I want in my salad. All right, let's head up this way and see if we can find some cool creatures. From sea anemones, that feels so cool. All those little tentacles are so sticky. To prickleback fish, the tide pools are alive with friendly animals. Though some of the local inhabitants aren't quite as well mannered as, let's say, a sea star. And if you flip over some rocks, watch your fingers, because you might get more than you bargained for. Down here nestled in these rocks is a purple shore crab. I'm going to gently move some of these rocks back and try to get a hold of them. He is pretty good size, and one thing about these crabs is that they are very difficult to handle, and there's probably a pretty good chance that I'm going to get pinched. I got him. Look at that. There it is. That is the purple shore crab. Now you notice how that crab is blowing bubbles? He's not doing that to be funny. He's actually doing it to aerate his gills. And if you didn't know that crabs have gills, they do. All these little bubbles, because he's out of the water right now, as they pop, push oxygen back in through his gills. Now the reason that they are called the purple shore crab, as you can see, he is very purple in coloration. The carapace, which is the top of the crab, is purple, and then the claws up front here have very distinct light violet color with darker purple spots. Now, these little crabs are a very important part of the ecosystem because they become food for a lot of the other animals out here, primarily birds. So at low tide like this, when the water has receded back, the birds will flock in and look for these crabs stranded in shallow pools. Now, fortunately for these little crabs, they're able to climb under rocks and hide. But if you're a human and you come out here to the tide pools, all you need to do is flip over a couple of rocks and you're going to find tons of these little crabs. Now, one way to not get pinched by these crabs is to just gently let them rest on the palm of your hand. You want to move one hand to the next so that you don't apply any pressure, and that way you avoid getting pinched. Now, you're looking at this little crab and you're probably thinking to yourself, man, that looks like one voracious little predator. But they're mostly vegetarians, out here feeding on sea lettuce, and occasionally they'll scavenge on a dead carcass of some sorts. Now, these front pinchers are actually used as defense. I'm sure you're thinking to yourselves, Coyote, you gonna get pinched by that crab? Why not? Let's see how powerful it really is. All right, here we go. You ready? 1, 2, 3. Oh my goodness. That is a serious pinch right there. Oh, he's gonna get me with that claw too. Wow, look at that. I can only imagine what it would be like to get pinched by a crab bigger than this. Now, this is one of the smaller species of shore crabs that we have out here. But if you were ever to go out into the tide pools and try to catch one of these crabs and you are pinched like this, don't panic, try to tough through the pain and gently set it back down into the water. Watch this. As soon as he's down there, he will let go of my finger. Just like that. As soon as he felt that he was back in his environment and he was comfortable, he let go and went about his way. Since beginning this journey of bringing wild animal adventures to the world, I have found myself in many dangerous situations. Some of them planned, and that was intense, getting swatted at by a grizzly bear. Okay, so now we want to get you guys up close with some of Adam's incredible features. Some of them by chance. This turtle just bit the top of my thumb off. Big time. And all of them, which I hope serve as both educational entertainment, but also as a lesson into why you should never approach wild animals on your own. And that's just gonna keep bleeding and bleeding. My job is dangerous. I think we can all agree on that. And sometimes I do push things to the extreme. 1, 2, 3. However, anytime we visit a location, like Arizona's Sonoran Desert, we try to be as calculated and safety conscious as we can. Priority number 1, guys, is safety. This environment is incredibly hostile, And if the heat doesn't get you, watch your step, because the biological landmines just might. That is so cool. This is the second Gila monster that we've encountered in the Sonoran Desert. And it's a big one. He doesn't want anything to do with us right now. He's just laying low to the sand saying, okay, don't get any closer. And while I have encountered, handled, filmed, and released many dangerous creatures, even I make mistakes. Yeah, he got me. He bit me.
Are you sure?
Yeah, he definitely bit me.
Let me keep them.
Oh, yeah, he got the whole top of my thumb. He got right past the GoPro, and he got the whole top of my thumb. Right. Just stop filming. Well, yesterday I took the worst animal bite I've ever received. It happened right here, and I was bitten by the only venomous lizard in the United States, the Gila monster. And it was bad. Here's what happened. We were out here filming B-roll, walking up this wash that's on the back side here, and I spotted a Gila monster, and he was just laying right here along this log. And I said, well, we don't need an episode with the Gila monster. We've already done that, but we wanted to get close and at least get some B-roll shots. Didn't need to catch the lizard, didn't need to handle it. We got some great shots with the C100 camera, and I said, you know what, let me get a couple shots with the GoPro. He's super calm, he's just chilling out. Got close, started doing some sweeping shots over him. I think he felt cornered. I got a little too close, and literally in a flash, he jerked his body and latched onto my thumb. Immediately, my natural reaction was to pull my thumb back extremely quickly, which I did, and that's why I have all these razor blade looking slices on my thumb. I literally yanked my finger out of his mouth. I grabbed onto my finger the moment that I was bitten, and almost immediately the pain from the venom started surging through my hand. Oh my God, it burns already. It's burning really bad already. Oh God! He turned and just spun, and I got right past the GoPro and bit my thumb. Now, I was extremely fortunate in this situation. After the bite, we consulted with reptile experts and venom experts. Now, there's no anti-venom that you can take for a Gila monster bite. We monitored my body for hours at a time. We made sure that my heart rate was low. We monitored the swelling. We took photographs, as you'll see some of the photographs here, as the hours went by. The pain was so excruciating, I really just had to go into a mental state where I told myself, you can make it through this pain. It was the worst pain I had ever experienced, the throbbing, the squirming of my body, and of course the constant fear that is this only going to get worse, because as the venom started traveling up my arm into my shoulder, I didn't know at what point it was going to stop, and that's when I really started to get nervous. And it was really mind over matter at that point. The fact that I didn't go into any sort of anaphylactic shock, I knew that I was going to be okay. It was just a matter of toughing through the pain, which was kind of like they explain, hot lava coursing through your veins. It's been 24 hours and I feel extremely fortunate to only have a swollen and sore thumb right now. Anytime you're bitten by an animal, venomous or non-venomous, make sure that you seek medical attention. This was not the Gila monster's fault in any way whatsoever. I got too close. So hopefully there's a good lesson that comes away from this. Gila monsters are not an animal that you should ever go out and try to handle. If you see one in the wild, take a photograph from a safe distance. Give it 5 feet. Zoom in with your lens and take a photograph like that. I learned the hard way, and I know from here on out I'm certainly going to give Gila monsters the space that they deserve. The southwestern United States has a reputation of being rough and rugged. It's cowboy country, and in many people's minds, it is laced with dangerous reptiles and dream-haunting arachnids. When it comes to Arizona's Sonoran Desert, a fair share of this lore is true. There are venomous animals and some pretty big spiders. It never becomes any less nerve-wracking to pick up a tarantula, I promise you that. But trust me when I say, they are much more afraid of you than you should ever be of them. Insects, on the other hand, are another story. And living in many Arizona backyards is a fearless creature armed with one of the most toxic venoms in the world. And while they are no bigger than the tip of your finger, they are absolutely fearless when it comes to attacking an intruder. Okay, so right now I am tucking my pant legs into my boots because what I am standing in is the attack zone of the harvester ant. Now, there are many species of ants that live out here in the Sonoran Desert, but nothing is more aggressive than the harvester ant. All ants have the ability to bite, but what most people don't realize is that many species, including the harvester ant, also have the ability to sting, and boy is it a whopper. What I'm going to try to do is see if I can get harvester ants on my hands and let them bite and sting me for 60 seconds. If you guys want me to be stung by the bullet ant someday, I think you have to walk before you can run. So I think the harvester ant is a great test to see how I will fend against the bullet ant. All right, you ready? Now before I go through with this, let's talk about the toxicity of the harvester ant. A single sting is said to be almost 20 times as potent as a honeybee. Personally, I'm not allergic to any bees, wasps, or hornets. Still, this is incredibly dangerous, so I stress, never, and I mean never, attempt what you're about to see in this episode. I'm basically just gonna put my hands down right here in front of their burrow and let them hop on. When harvester ants attack, they use their powerful mandibles to bite and hold on to their victim. Ah! Yep, getting stung already. While repetitively stinging and injecting venom through the stinger at the base of their abdomen. Oh, that burns. The venom is laced with an alkaloid poison, which when released, acts as an alarm pheromone that causes other ants in the area to attack. They're all over my hands now, look at that. This was very obvious, as after the first sting was inflicted, it seemed as if the entire colony was called to the front lines. Oh boy! 60 seconds seemed like a lifetime. As tiny stingers jabbed me over and over. I could feel them getting into my clothes, up my back, and onto my neck. There's one on my neck! Mario, get the one off my neck! And eventually, the pain became too much.
Alright, I think it's 60 seconds.
I was done. The ants had won. I gotta take my shirt off. So why in the world did I do this? Well, many of you out there watching have requested that I be stung by a bullet ant, which can inflict a single sting that is considered to be one of the most painful stings in the animal kingdom. Still one in my pants. Oh, this is truly the meaning of ants in your pants. The producers and I wanted to see how my body would react to several stings from the harvester ant. When it was all said and done, the crew and I counted 63 sting zones, and the effects of the venom lasted for nearly a week, which included searing pain during the first couple hours, followed by swelling, tenderness, and periodic itching. My arms, my hands, the back of my head are absolutely on fire right now. Wow, the harvester ant is one formidable little foe, I can tell you that much. If I could sustain this, maybe, just maybe, the bullet ant challenge isn't too far off.
You gotta get a shot, man. Come on over. I know it hurts.
I think half hour from now, if I'm okay, there's a good chance that I'm gonna be able to get up close, possibly stung by the bullet ant. I'm sure you're shaking your head right now thinking, Coyote, you are absolutely crazy. And maybe I am, but I hope that we have all learned something from this little experiment. 1, the ants both bite and sting, and 2, never, I mean never, tangle with a colony of harvester ants. Welcome back, everyone. Wow, it is seriously cold out here today, like 5 degrees Fahrenheit, and boy do I wish that I was somewhere warm. So today we're taking you back down to Florida. You remember a couple of weeks ago when we did an episode all about catching anoles? Well, if you didn't see that episode, there was a scene at the end that gave me quite a surprise. So let's take an extended look at one seriously close call. Got a snake right here, right here.
What?
It's a rat snake. No, it's a black racer. Holy cow, and they're super fast. Right there, you see him?
Yeah, he's slithering.
Oh, and I'm on this side of the logs, buddy. I'm gonna get you. Watch how fast they dart as soon as he decides to take off. Got him, got him, got him, got him. Woo! Oh, trying to catch anoles, and we come across, ooh, he bit me. Good thing is he's non-venomous. Look at that, rattling the tail, just like a rattlesnake. That's a warning sign where he tries to make me think that he's venomous, even though he's not. Ooh, boy, he got my hand good. Now, this is one of the top predators that's out here eating the brown anole, and they are so unbelievably quick. Oh, again. Geez, maybe I should just hold him kind of out like this so I don't take any more bites. Look at how beautiful that snake is. Now, this is another species that does incredibly well in a residential area like this because there's so many things for them to feast on. Obviously, the brown anoles are probably a pretty easy snack, but then you've got all sorts of rodents, and they will even go after baby birds if they're a nest. These snakes can climb, but where they really shine is on the ground. And I'll put him down real quick. Hopefully I'll be able to grab him a second time. Ready? Watch how fast the snake takes off. Ready? You good? 1, 2, 3. Look at that. Look at that. Coming right at you. It's okay. Don't worry. Woo! And out in the open like this, he can...
stepped on him.
Yeah, out in the open like this, he can feel that he has nothing to go under. So that's where he's going to show us defensive poses like this. You see he's kind of rearing up. Look at that. He's got the tail rattling, trying to shake these leaves, make us think that he is a rattlesnake. And of course, you do have eastern diamondbacks around here. Watch your feet. It's okay. Don't worry about him, Mark. He's not going to hurt you. He actually feels more comfortable right there under your feet.
Does he look at me as like protection?
He does, because you're a shaded area, and potentially he could hide under your foot. Now he's coming behind you. All right. Let me just wrangle him back here. Nope. Jeez, look how fast he's going. Okay, whoa! Went right for my face. Holy mackerel. Okay. That's probably about as much as we need to stress him out. Let me see if I can just totally get him to calm down now. Come here, buddy. There we go. Look at how beautiful that snake is. Incredibly smooth, and that's what allows him to move through the environment so quickly. Oh boy, he's looking right in my face, and he's saying, just get a little bit closer. I gave you a bite on both hands, and I would love to bite your nose. That's not gonna happen. Yeah, and he is musking right now, so that's another defensive tactic. Let me poop, scare you away with that smell. I'm sure it tastes pretty bad, but holy mackerel, that is the black racer.
Kind of unexpected, huh?
Totally unexpected. I don't know if we're gonna be able to top this. I was hoping for a bigger anole. You never know what you're gonna find.
Oh,
whoa!
Did he bite you in the face?
He bit my hat.
You never know what you're gonna find. Whoa!
Yikes. Talk about getting face to face with the black racer. I'll tell you, that encounter sure gives a new meaning to the phrase, up close and personal. I do feel lucky to still have my nose, even though I can't feel it right now. I think it's time to head in and get some hot chocolate. All right, you ready? 1, 2, oh boy, 3. You know what, guys? I'm crazy, but I'm not that crazy. What you're looking at there is a 200-pound American alligator with one of the most powerful bite forces on the planet. An animal of this size could probably rip off my arm. And just to prove that he's real, watch this. Ready? Whew, wow. Getting that close to those teeth really gets your heart racing. Now, I've gotten up close with a number of different dangerous animals and gotten into the strike zone to show you what to do and not do if you ever find yourself in that position. Now, I'm not willing to be bitten by an alligator of this size, but I am willing to hold up my end of the bargain and get chomped by something a little more reasonable. All right, guys, let's bring in Junior. Over the course of my adventures, I have had several alligator encounters, all of which ended without me ever being bitten. See you later, buddy. Wow! So that'll be the bite perspective right there. Alligator will come from this side and chomp down right on the meat of my forearm. The measured bite force of a full-grown American alligator is around 3,000 pounds per square inch, making it one of the most powerful chomps in the animal kingdom. I am trying to mentally put myself in a place where I'm not going to feel the pain. I have a pretty high pain tolerance, but even still, having all those tiny little teeth pop through my forearm in both sides, this is not going to feel good.
This is the real deal.
This is the real deal. No matter what, never replicate what you were about to witness in this video. Now, who you're looking at there, that is Junior. This is about 3.5 feet in length. He weighs about 20 pounds. And an alligator of this size is only about 2 years old. So the purpose of me getting chomped today by Junior, other than the fact that you guys wanted to see me get chomped by an alligator, is to prove to you that having an alligator as a pet is just not a good idea. All right, Junior, go easy on me, buddy. Oh, I don't know how I get myself into these things. Here we go. All right, this is not gonna be pretty. You guys ready for this? I'm Coyote Peterson, and I'm about to enter the strike zone with the American alligator. You ready? Ready? Everyone ready?
Rolling.
Rolling. GoPro. Rolling. Here we go. 1, 2. Ah! Oh yeah, he is into my arm and he is holding on. Ah! Yep. Alright, that feels like big needles going into my forearm, and I can see there that those teeth are deep down into my skin. Oh yeah, he's really holding on. Man, now, an alligator of this size, only about 3.5 feet, capable of giving you one really, really nasty bite. Alright, I think to get him to let go, I'm gonna try to just pry his jaw down a little bit. Alright, I'm gonna pull my arm out. You ready? No, he's not letting go. He is locked onto my arm, guys. You know what? Let's get a bottle of water. There are some teeth underneath that have just popped through the underside of my arm. All right, I'm gonna dump a little bit of water on you. Ready? Here we go. All right, buddy, let go. Let go. Oh, I don't want him to like slide back. Oh, it's the underside that hurts the worst. He's biting out harder and harder and harder. Oh man, this was not a good idea, ladies and gentlemen. Truly chomped by the American alligator. I can't get him off. He's locked down there.
What, just a suggestion for me?
Yes, suggestion.
I'd take the stick, put it in here so he couldn't bite down any harder.
Yeah, that's a good idea. All right, what we're gonna do now is put a stick in his jaws from this side. Getting the alligator on is one thing. Getting him off is another. He's got the underside of my wrist locked in his jaws. Ooh, yeah. Wow. Oh, thank you, Junior. Oh, man. Woo, doggy. Look at that. Oh, man, he got really close to a vein right there. You can see there's a big hole went into my arm at that spot. That hurts the worst. And I think one of the most uncomfortable feelings is when you can feel a tooth pop through your skin. In total, my arm was locked in the jaws of this alligator for 7 minutes, and I was working with a team of experts. Remember, Junior is only 2 years old. Now imagine having him as your pet. You go to feed him, you clean his cage, or mishandle this reptile for just a second, and wham! This could be you. Well, hopefully this proved as an excellent lesson as to why you never want to get an alligator as a pet. Thousands of baby alligators find their way into the pet trade every year. They may start off small and adorable, but they won't stay that way for long. Accidents happen with captive alligators, and they happen often. Guys, I am seriously chomped here. I was lucky to walk away with just a few puncture wounds. But you? Well, let's just say, you might not be this lucky. Alright guys, so when I was in Arizona, you saw me put my hands into a mound of harvester ants, a species that both bites and stings. I lasted 60 seconds and took a lot of venom. Yep, getting stung already. They're all over my hands now, look at that. Today I'm in South Florida, and right in front of me is a giant mound of fire ants. I'm sure you're looking at this pile of dirt thinking to yourselves, is that really an anthill? Looks like no one's home. I promise you, there are thousands of these fiery little ants beneath the surface. And the second that my hands disturb this dirt, I'm going to be swarmed by these ornery little insects. Am I excited about this? Not really. Am I curious as to what's gonna happen? Of course, and I know you guys are too. I think at this point, I am ready to enter the strike zone with the fire ant. The red imported fire ant is native to South America. Yet they have established populations in several places across the United States, including Florida. What makes these insects so dangerous is that their mounds camouflage into the environment, resembling nothing more than a pile of dirt. Stumble into one, and before you even realize what you have done, you are caught in the swarm. Now, just like the harvester ant, the fire ant can bite and it can also sting. And they say that the sting of a fire ant feels like putting your hands into a ring of fire. Now, before I actually go through with this, here's a little something we all should know. The sting of this ant species possesses an alkaloid venom known as solnopsin, which exhibits a potent necrotoxic reaction in anyone who is stung. This not only causes searing pain, but also causes the sting zones to swell and form unsightly white pustulates in as little as 12 hours. In short, this is one nasty sting, and boy am I about to get my fair share of them. You build yourself up for these moments, and then you second guess yourself. We've done a couple of practice dry runs at it, just as a rehearsal as to where I'm going to put my hands. When they go in there, I'm going to be able to do this one time. I'm going to try to keep my hands in there for 60 seconds. Heart is racing right now. Hopefully my body reacts okay to the venom. Don't want to go into anaphylactic shock or anything. I did okay with the harvester ants, so I think I'm going to be okay. All right, here we go. Ready? All right, go get in position. I'll be there in a second.
All right, man.
Never, under any circumstances, try to replicate what you are about to witness in this video. I'm Coyote Peterson, and I'm about to enter the strike zone with the fire ant. You guys ready? Your shot good?
Yep.
1, 2, 3. Holy cow. Ow! 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 Oh! Holy cow! That's a lot of stings already! Okay, I'm gonna have to take my hands out pretty quickly, guys.
Good, man.
So much worse than the harvester ants!
30 seconds.
I can't, I gotta stop!
You alright? Alright, look up at me, man. How are you? Tell me what you're feeling.
A lot of pain. Oh, they're still on me. My hands are on fire right now. It is worse than the harvester ant, there's no question about it.
What's going through your mind right now?
My hands feel like they're swelling right now. I feel like I'm still getting stung. Be one with the pain. Be one with the pain. Look at my veins are all swelling up. When a mound of fire ants is disturbed, thousands of them instantly swarm the invader. The attack comes from all sides, and as the ants bite and hold on with their mandibles, they use a stinger in their abdomen to inject the venom.
Man, that burns!
I was hoping to last 60 seconds. However, my pain tolerance finally gave out, as my brain was screaming, "Get your hands out of that ant mound." Alright, so it's been about 5 minutes since I had my hands in the ant mound. As you can see, they're starting to swell up. There's a bunch of little white lumps all over them. It's actually not too bad at this point. It hurts less than it does itch. I really want to itch my hands right now, and I know that I shouldn't, because if I do, it's only going to make it worse. Now, if you want to know the answer of which is worse, the harvester ant or the fire ant, I think the pain was worse with the harvester ant, but obviously the swarm was more impressive with the fire ant.
This is much worse than the harvester ants.
The moment those ants were covering my hands, I was immediately getting stung over and over and over again, and it did feel like putting my hands into a ring of fire.
Holy cow.
I think no matter what, at the end of the day, the lesson that we're all taking away from this is that if you're out in nature and you're exploring, always do your best to avoid any and all ant mounds. In total, I sustained over 300 stings, and for over a week, I suffered through incredible discomfort, which included flashes of pain and continuous itching. It took over 30 days for the pustulates to completely diminish, and they left behind a trail of scars that today serve as a constant reminder of why you never want to tangle with fire ants. Nearly all ant attacks happen on humans by accident. Pay attention to where you step or sit, and you hopefully will not end up looking like me. There's no question about it, the Wild West is rough and rugged. And whether you're talking about the rocky terrain, laced with spine-covered plants, or its animals, most of which are armed with fangs and stingers, Arizona's Sonoran Desert is an adventure lover's playground. Sure, we all have our fears of being bitten by a rattlesnake when venturing off trail, or in my case, having a giant desert centipede run on my pant leg. But in actuality, The good news is that each and every one of these creatures does its best to avoid human interaction. However, sometimes you have an accidental run-in, and when you do, a bite or a sting can be incredibly painful.
Yeah, he got me. He bit me.
Sure?
Yeah, he definitely bit me.
When it comes to my line of work, the goal is to have an interaction so that I can show you the effects of these encounters. This way we can all learn why it's important to be in tune with our surroundings and why it's always best to admire animals from a safe distance.
Velvet ant! Velvet ant!
Got one?
Yeah, he's right there on the edge of that log. I keep my back off. Yes, hold on. No, he's underneath the log. I just started to tip it. I ran back. Hold on a second.
Oh, I saw him.
Did you see it?
He ducked out, ducked back in.
There it is. There it is.
Get him, the lizard.
Ah! Yes! Yes! Look at that! Woo! Oh, you almost got into the crevice of that log. Wow, that is a good sized one too. But we got our velvet ant. There it is. Okay, cool. Well, tomorrow morning, I'm gonna get stung by that little ornery bugger. Cool.
The velvet ant, which is actually a species of ground wasp and not an ant at all, claims a famous nickname, the cow killer. Ranked on the Insect Sting Pain Index as being the 4th most painful sting in the insect kingdom, rumor has it that the pain is so intense it can kill a cow.
You may be looking at this thinking to yourself, Coyote, are you gonna get stung? Yeah, I am. I'm gonna get stung by this today. Now, the Insect Sting Pain Index says that the intense pain will last for about 30 minutes. And the reason that I'm doing it is to work my way up to the bullet ant. You wanna see me stung by the bullet ant? Kinda feel like I have to get stung by everything else leading up to that. I am not looking forward to 30 minutes of pain that's gonna come from this insect.
I know, right? Here we go again. Coyote is about to enter the strike zone. But this one's a little different. When it comes to alligator bites, crab pinches, or blood-sucking leeches, I'm fine with that. When it comes to stingers and venom, that's where even I get nervous.
Now, the females do not have wings. The males do have wings. But what's interesting is that the males do not have stingers. Guess who does have a stinger? That's right, the females. And that's what we have here today. Now, one of the most impressive things about this insect is the size of its stinger. In fact, it's about as long as the entire length of the abdomen. What I want to do now is use these little entomology forceps to pick the velvet ant up and show you guys just how big that stinger is. You ready for this?
Yeah. Are they delicate?
They are not. The velvet ant actually has a very, very durable exoskeleton, one of the toughest exoskeletons in the insect kingdom. So me picking her up with the forceps is not going to cause her any sort of pain or damage. Come here. Oh!
Oh, getting away, getting away.
I got it.
Got it?
Got it.
Got it. Awesome.
Now, they can be found in the grass. So if you're out there walking around barefoot and you step on one of these, you're not going to squish it. What's going to happen is it's going to spin around and then it's going to tuck its abdomen under and boom, you're going to get nailed with that giant stinger. Well, I think at this juncture, it is time for me to actually take a sting.
Are you guys getting nervous? I'll tell you what, I sure was. Now, they say that this sting is painful enough to kill a cow. However, there are no reported cases of cows, or humans for that matter, ever dying from a velvet ant sting. This makes me feel a bit better, but you never know how your body will react to venom, so we always have an epinephrine pen on location just in case I have an allergic reaction to the sting.
All right, Mark's signaling me that it is time. Here we go. I'm about to be stung by the velvet ant. Here we go.
All right, Coyote. Well, it's about that time.
Yeah.
How are we going to pull this off? I see we have a, camera-wise, we have a GoPro, small camera right next to me. Oh, hey, there's Chance. Chance over there. What's the game plan for this sting in here? What's the idea?
Well, this is going to go down one of two ways. What I'm going to try first is to actually take this little glass, flip it upside down, get the ant to this end, and then place it down on top of my arm. This will isolate the ant on my skin, and I'm hoping that as it tries to get away, it's just going to sting me. Now, if that doesn't work, I also have my pair of entomology forceps, and I'm actually going to pick up, hold the ant, place it on my arm, and let it sting me. One way or another, I am definitely going to be stung by the velvet ant. Here we go. Okay. Now the first thing I'm going to do is get the ant up into that part of the glass, and then I'm going to spin this over onto my forearm, and with any luck, the ant is going to sting me. Here we go. Ready?
Let's do it. Here comes number 4.
I'm Coyote Peterson, and I'm about to enter the sting zone with the velvet ant. 1, 2, here we go, 3. Oh boy. Oh, my heart's racing right now. Oh boy, I can see its abdomen kind of pumping. My heart is going now.
Any second it could happen.
Yeah, any second it could sting me. Oh boy, ooh, 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 ow, 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 ow. Ow, it's biting at my skin. It's biting at the edge of the container, trying to get out. Ooh. Oh, and that stinger is gonna be like a little hypodermic needle going into my skin. This is intense. The glass is actually starting to get a little foggy from the heat of my skin. So at this point, I think we're going to move to plan B, which is holding the velvet ant with the entomology forceps. I don't think it's going to sting me at this point. It's been in there for about 2 minutes, and so far no sting. It's just trying to get out. So I'm going to flip my arm upside down and get the ant back under control. Okay, here we go. Ready?
Okay.
1, 2, 3. Okay.
How do you feel?
Extremely nervous, and my heart is racing. I actually think I do have to take a second just to get my heart rate to calm back down. Okay, cutting GoPro. Okay. Alright, the only way to actually move forward with this is for me to hold the ant with the entomology forceps up against my skin and let it sting me.
Dude, this is gonna do it, isn't it?
Yeah, hold on, I need a second. My heart's like,
You're right.
ooh, getting dizzy. Yeah, getting dizzy.
In the world of entomology, when it comes to milking the venom of insects and arachnids, holding them with forceps is a guaranteed way to induce a sting. So I think we all know what's going to happen next.
This is crazy, guys, this is crazy. My nerves are going this much for the velvet ant. I can't imagine what the tarantula hawk and the bullet ant are gonna be like. Okay.
I can't believe you're about to do this. That stinger is enormous.
Yeah, okay, you can do this, you can do this,
So
okay.
is that stinger gonna go all the way under your skin?
Yeah, it's gonna go right into my skin.
Yeah, I'm ready. Oh boy. Alright, here we go.
Here you go, ready? Alright, let's do this again one more time for good measure. I'm Coyote Peterson, and I'm about to enter the sting zone with the cow killer. Are you ready?
Are you ready?
No, I'm never ready. 1, 2, 3. You good?
Yeah.
Get your shot. I'm gonna place it right down on my arm. Here we go. Look at my arm shaking. And go. Okay, let me get back here.
You alright? What are you feeling?
Go! Oh wow. Oh wow, okay. Give me a second. Oh my gosh.
You alright?
Oh yeah.
What are you feeling? What does it feel
Yeah.
like?
Give me a second. Give me a second. Oh my gosh, guys, this is super bad. Move this out of the way. Hold on, I gotta try to control my heart rate. Try to get a tight shot of it right there where the stinger when you need to see there's blood. Okay, try to get a shot so I can get him like walk around for a second. Oh, right there.
Right there, that's our stinging.
That was something. I could feel it. It was like you could feel it go all the way under the skin, all the way in. I could feel it insert into my arm.
You gonna be alright?
Okay. Now they say that the sting of the velvet ant will last for about 30 minutes. And I can tell you guys right now, this is the worst sting I've ever taken. There's no question about it. It is worse than a harvester ant, it is worse than a fire ant. It feels like I'm getting stung over and over again. You can see the welt starting to form on my arm.
Oh man, yeah, there's a welt, big time. Describe the pain. Is it like a pulsating pain, stabbing?
The pain, it's radiating. It is radiating. It feels like, you know, if you get a Charlie horse in your muscle, and it like seizes up, and then it's like, doof, doof. Oh, that is powerful. I can see why they call them cow killers. Oh, that is some intense pain right there. How long has it been? About
7 minutes.
7 minutes. They say the pain from this lasts for about 30. About 23 minutes to go, guys. 23 minutes to go. Ah!
Now, aside from working my way up to the bullet ant, the reason I was willing to take a sting from this insect was so that we could all see the effects of the venom.
25 minutes has gone by. My arm is still on fire. And what's crazy is that look at all the red blotching that's formed around the sting. There's the stinger insertion point right there, and it is swollen and it is very tender. And you can see how red the entire radius is of the sting. I'm sweating.
My goal was to do the best I could to describe the pain I was feeling.
And it still hurts. It definitely still hurts, but not as bad as the initial impact of the stinger. But what's interesting is that all around the sting is tingling, like these little tiny pincushion needles going tss, 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 tss. And as you can see, there's all these little red dots forming, and I'm assuming that is where the venom is spreading into my arm. Oh wow, well I would say that this was definitely one very intense sting. The cow killer has earned its reputation as being one of the most powerful stings in the insect kingdom. And while it may be ranked as a 4 on the insect sting pain index, for me, at this point, it's definitely number 1. I'd say I'm one step closer to being stung by the bullet ant, but first, I'm gonna have to go up against the tarantula hawk. I have a feeling that that one is going to be bad. I'm Coyote Peterson. Be brave. Stay wild. We'll see you on the next adventure. Woo! Let's get out of the desert.